Okay.
She's really doing it.
All right, ladies. So Lori asked me about a week or so ago, can I read something from Gems from Joan? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then I said, what do you want me to read? And she said, oh, whatever you want. I said, oh, that was a trick question. So I said, sure, no problem. I'll go for the book. And I don't know if you ladies all have this book. If you do, it is a great book. If you need something to pick you up, boost your energy, whatever, if you're going through a challenge at the moment, it is a wonderful, wonderful book. You can tell mine is all, I pick it up very often. So, I'm sorry if I'm too long here.
No, you're doing good.
The one that I picked, I just had to, because it goes with what I've been going through, and those of you that have known me on a personal level, you guys have known that in the recent weeks, months, or so forth, I've been through some challenges and through some trials, and it's like, okay. So, I am going to read this, and I already apologize if it's going to be a little bit lengthy, but I think in sight of it being January and us focusing on getting our energy and setting our goals and, getting everything that we want out of our businesses, I think the one that I picked is ideal, or at least it is for me. So I'm going to share it with you guys. And it is The String of Pearls. Absolutely love this one. So this is what it says. I want you to make a mental list of some things that irritate you. It could be pages for me right now. So here are a few suggestions for us to get started. Traffic jams, nosy people, long lines, crying babies, phone calls, misplaced keys, cold soup, interruptions, 9 out of 10 shows, no shows, noisy neighbors, being brushed, late planes, flat tires, I had that one, weeds, postponed home shows. Any of those irritate you? At some level, right? There was a funny saying around a few years ago that some of you might identify with. I am planning to have a nervous breakdown. I have earned it. I deserve it. I have worked hard for it, and nobody's going to keep me from having it. If it weren't for all these irritations, we'd have no problem being patient, would we? Everything in life would be smooth sailing. Unfortunately, life isn't like that. We will never be free of irritations. The secret is to adjust. It's not easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, though. But through these adjustments, we can have real growth of our inner character. We are able to cultivate attractive qualities. A perfect illustration of this truth is the oyster and its pearl. Pearls have always been a favorite item of jewelry for women of all ages, economic circumstances, and nationalities. My first piece of jewelry was a tiny string of pearls. Do you know that something as lovely as a pearl is really a product of irritation? When a shell of an oyster gets pierced and an alien substance like a grain of sand slips inside, all the resources within the tiny sensitive oyster rush to the spot and begin to release healing fluids. By and by, the irritant is covered, and when the wound is healed with a pearl, a tiny jewel conceived through irritation, born of adversity, nursed by adjustments. There could be no pearl if there had been no wounding, no irritating interruption. Some oysters are never wounded, and those are being tossed aside, fit only for oyster stew. Not bad at all, but it's not as good as being fit for premier pearls. When I speak of premier pearls here, I am not only speaking, of our jewelry items. I am also referring to each one of you, our jewelers. We all have had irritants slip into our lives. For some unknown reason, all the resources within us rush to that spot of stress and of pain. What happens then determines if we have a string of pearls or let's take one of those irritants that I had mentioned earlier, a postponed home show. What happens when that irritant enters? We can perceive it as a negative, saying, I just knew she wouldn't have that show. I am not even going to bother calling her, and have oyster stew. Or we can call the hostess and say, I just can't wait until we can set up another date for your show. I have so many new pieces of jewelry, and I know that together we're going to hold a great show for you. That is making a string of pearls. Do you recall all the beautiful precious stones that are named in the description of the heavenly city in the Bible? Do you remember the entrance to the city, the 12 gates, which are pearls, the symbol of healed wounds? In the book of James, we read that we can call our pearl verses. Listen to what it says. When all kind of trials crowd into our lives, don't resent them as intruders, but welcome them as friends. Realize that they have come to test your endurance. But let the process go until that endurance is fully developed, and you will find you have become men and women of mature character. As we wear our pearls and show Premier's beautiful strings of pearls to others, I hope we will be reminded of the process we all go through. As we endure adversity, adjust to irritation, and recover from misfortune, we become even more beautiful Premier pearls ourselves.
Oh, that's nice.
Good job. Here we go. How do I stop? Is this the same button again?